What's up, beautiful people? I'm Erin and this is Erin On Demand, and today we are talking all about how to be productive when you do not feel like it. Trust me, I get it. Burnout is real, imposter syndrome is real, just being straight up tired is real. So I'm gonna share with you some of the things that I like to do to just try to stay productive even when I am just completely drained. So if that sounds like your vibe, keep on watching. Before we get into the tips, this portion of the video was sponsored by Dropbox. A lot of times entrepreneurship can be mentally draining, which is honestly what this video is about, but you don't want your hard work to get lost. That just takes you from drained to miserable, okay? And that has actually happened to me before, where my work just got lost. Like one of my drives just completely tanked and I didn't have it backed up anywhere else. And so that is the worst feeling ever, especially as a creator who does a lot of video and content. You never want your work to get lost, deleted, or compromised. That is why I love using Dropbox Pro to back everything up. And y'all, when I say everything, I mean everything. Videos, YouTube videos, photos, just files, projects that I worked on, my course, everything has to be backed up. Another thing I love about Dropbox is that it makes collaborating and working on the go so easy because your files are securely backed up and you can store really large files on Dropbox, which I need because I do a lot of video projects. And then because I'm working with an editor, I always need to be able to have him access the files as well as myself. So it really just makes collaborating so seamless because you can access those files on multiple devices. And it's not just about workflow internally, like with your team, if you have an editor, or even if you work all by yourself. It also makes you look really good if you are sharing files with clients and just really look polished and professional. And I know we're talking about productivity in this video, but honestly, productivity also is about like making sure that the things that you're using work efficiently for you. So you don't have to worry about the clutter and distractions, having files all over the place, not knowing where your products or your files are stored. Dropbox makes it so easy to stay organized so that you don't have to switch between so many tools just to keep your workflow afloat. Also, setting up Dropbox backup feature is a really good solution. So it will automatically back up your files in the cloud. So you can back up folders like your desktop, your documents, your downloads directly to Dropbox so you know that everything you do is automatically saved. And the best part is you can access those documents from anywhere at any time. So any changes made are automatically going to be updated in your Dropbox account and on your hard drive. So this is like an entrepreneur's dream, especially a content creator's dream. So I highly recommend you check out Dropbox. Visit dropbox.com/ErinOnDemand and start your free trial of Dropbox Professional. Thanks again to Dropbox for sponsoring this portion of the video. Now let's get into the rest of the video. All right, let's get into these tips. So the first tip is the 5-second rule. And I started doing this once I saw Mel Robbins' TED Talk about just how she was in such a funk and it was like nothing could pull her out of this funk. And she saw this rocket launching on TV and it did a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 countdown. And she said that next morning she just had this vision in her head of being that rocket ship and pretty much launching herself out of bed, which was almost like a microcosm of her life, like launching herself to live. And I just love this method so much. I recommend it to everybody who says that they are kind of stuck in this funk, because really it's so hard to tell you or to motivate you to get up and do something that you don't feel like doing. Most of the time, even if you are motivated to do something, motivation is very fleeting. So, you know, one minute you can be feeling very motivated and then the next minute you may not. So having this very actionable tool in your pocket of just like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let me get up. It almost makes yourself move and do before you have time to think about it and all the reasons why you don't feel like doing it. So I like to go from 3 because sometimes 5 is just a little bit too much time. By the time I count down from 5, I may have already decided not to do it. So I just go 3, 2, 1, and then I just get up. And this is like useful, not just for work, y'all. Like, being unmotivated does not necessarily mean you're unmotivated to do work. It could be, I don't feel like washing the dishes. I don't feel like cooking. I don't feel like, whatever the case may be. So sometimes you just have to rocket launch yourself up and do it, and just trick your brain into taking action before it has time to actually think about it. So I will highly recommend checking out her TED Talk. I will link it down below, and let me know what you think. Second thing is thinking about the big picture. And I know it sounds kind of cliche, but like, honestly, putting yourself in the big picture of your life and thinking about how these moments make such a difference. And I always think about my journey to being where I am now. And a lot of times I'm like, there was not necessarily one major moment that just turned my life around. It was a combination or a compilation of all of these small moments, all these small things I did every single day to get me to where I am, and that are going to get me to where I'm going. And so looking and thinking about that big picture is a really helpful way for me to just kind of try to stay the course, and really try not to give up on myself too soon when I know that there are other things in store for me. So I like to create vision boards every year. This year I created a gigantic vision board because my vision I pray that it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. So I made this massive vision board, and I will link how I made it down below. But I highly recommend, even if you don't do a gigantic vision board or even a paper vision board, to just go and like find photos that inspire you, or even go drive around to maybe a neighborhood you'd love to live in, or go walk through your dream model home. Like, think about yourself and your future self, and really try to put yourself in your vision. Number 3 is to create a routine that you love. Or if you have a routine already, try to mix it up. So creating a routine that you love is really helpful in just making sure that you're checking those boxes, especially those self-care boxes, like making sure that you exercise, maybe pray or meditate, that you read or pour into yourself some kind of way, or even talk on the phone with a friend that you haven't talked to in a while. Or running you a nice bubble bath, or going for a drive to your favorite spot. Like, just doing things that you like, carving out that time in your schedule to actually do that. And, routines are like the thing, now, and everyone's sharing their morning routines and their night routines and all these elaborate routines. And I caution you to watch those, to be inspired, and not to beat yourself up if that's not what your life looks like. So I just would recommend that you find a healthy routine and ease your way into it, because the more we can kind of get our bodies and our minds on a regimen, the easier it is to execute more efficiently and productively. So do not underestimate the power of routine, but you also don't have to just be so rigid with your routine every single second of the day. So don't beat yourself up if you fall off of it a little bit. Now, if you are a very routine person, I would recommend mixing it up, because that can also kind of cause you to fall into a rut. You feel like every single day just feels the same. It looks the same. You eat the same stuff. You're doing the same things. So make sure you also try to spice it up a little bit and throw some curveballs into your routine, so that you don't feel like you're just living the same life over and over again every single day. Okay. Number 4 is to focus on 3 things at a time. Y'all already know I had to put the top 3 in this video, but it just works, when I don't overwhelm myself with too many things, too many tasks. It really helps me focus on the things that actually do matter, and it really helps me push that needle forward for whatever goals that I have set in place. So I really love doing the top 3, and really the whole premise is to simplify, because a lot of planners and journals and methods that I've used, I found they just overcomplicate productivity. And I really need something simple that is easily implementable, if that's a word, and that doesn't cause me to have to think too much about planning, because there are also those types of people who their productivity is so much planning that you forget or you don't have the energy to execute. So you want to make sure that whatever method you're using is easy to integrate into your life. That's why I love the top 3 method. Write my top 3 urgent priorities down for the day. Celebrate once I complete them, and then I move on to those additional tasks that would be great to complete today, but I'm not going to beat myself up if I don't complete them. Number 5 is to count your small wins. Y'all, if you made your bed up this morning, it can be that simple, especially if maybe you haven't made your bed up in 2 weeks. Like, that could be a win for you if that's something that you would consider a win. If you ate healthy foods instead of snacking all day, that is a win. You know, if you were able to upload a YouTube video or an extra video this week, that is a win. If you went live for even 5 minutes, but you did it and you were scared, that's a win. So count your wins. Document them in some kind of way. And this is something that I really need to get better at, because when you do document those wins and you have those low days, you can go back and you can look at all the incredible things that you accomplished. And that really helps you see that you're moving the needle, that you are taking the steps that you need to take. So baby steps are still steps. They still move you forward. So do not miss your wins just because you're looking for these massive turning points that oftentimes they don't happen without the small wins. So you've got to count all of it. Number 6 is to revisit your vision. Now, I know we talked about vision in number 2, but this is another way that you can actually do this. So look at your vision, or create your vision if you haven't done that. And I recommend creating a model day, a model week, a model year. So basically, this is an ideal day in your life. What would that look like? And it could be totally far-fetched from what it is right now, but thinking about like how you want to feel, what you want to be doing with your time, and trying to start maneuvering your current life into that as much as possible. Another exercise you can do is to make a future self video. Now, one of my e-bosses recommended this, and I thought that it was so brilliant. She talked about it in the e-brand club, but she said that she will take a selfie video saying something basically as if it was the end of a goal that she accomplished. So maybe if you are going live for the first time, you'll make a video about that. Oh my God, I just went live for the first time and 20 people attended. I cannot believe how incredible it went. I didn't even stumble, and I feel so accomplished and so good that I finally did something that I've been trying to do for so long. I was a little bit nervous, but overall, I'm so proud of myself. Okay, it could be something short and sweet, and it can be related to whatever goals that you want it to be related to. But the whole idea is for you to start to get attached to the feeling of completion, not necessarily how it turned out. So I don't know if you would use the exact script that I did, but not necessarily how it turned out, but how you feel now that you've done it. So taking that video and saving that somewhere, and as you're completing this project, it could be a big project. I just came off of finishing my course and it was a massive project. And so something like that would have been so helpful for me in that season, you know, to go back and look at and just feel, you know, try to feel what it feels like to be done with that. So try to channel that excitement as if you're done, and then make that video come true. And that can help motivate you to getting up and getting into action. Number 7 is to take a break, okay? Rest. It is okay to rest, you know? I hear a lot of people saying rest is productive, which it is. And I kind of feel like, I mean, there are people who just work nonstop. But I feel like for the most part, most people err more on the side of they may not be as productive as they probably could be. More people err on the side of living very distracted lives. And it gets mixed up with being productive, because you feel like you may be doing a whole bunch, but you're actually not really doing as much as you could be. So especially with social media and all these distractions, it can get really easy to be less productive. So I am not one who advocates for like hustle culture and just not sleeping and pulling all-nighters all the time and all of that stuff. But I do say, like, find a healthy balance. I don't think most people need to be told to rest more because it ends up feeling like an excuse. So if you have to be able to discern whether or not you need rest or whether or not you're being lazy, whether or not you just don't feel like working because you don't know what work ethic or hard work feels like, or it feels foreign to you. So you have to learn how to push yourself in those ways. But when you do push yourself, you do need rest. And so pushing yourself, it can really be pushing myself to get these top 3 things done for the day, or to meal prep for the entire week, or whatever the case. Like I said, it doesn't always fall in line of like doing a whole bunch of work all day, every day, but getting it done, okay? Rest. Your brain needs to rest. Your body needs to rest. We grow through rest. So make sure you're taking that time. Just don't use rest as an excuse to not get in action, okay? I know I read some of y'all, but it's okay. I read myself a little bit too with that. All right, you guys, I hope this was helpful. Being unmotivated, not feeling like working is totally natural. So do not think you are the only one, okay? Let me know in the comments if there is anything that I can do to support you in feeling more motivated, more inspired. Just let me know. And if there's any video suggestions you have as a next video to stem off of this, if you want me to go into more detail about anything, also comment that down below. All right, you guys, I love you and I will see you on the next one.